Well, one of the strongest things about ASIPP compared to other pain management societies is that we have individual component societies in each state as well as Puerto Rico. So this allows us to do several things, right? So first of all, we can do local advocacy. And secondly, it allows us to foster new leaders. So younger physicians who are just getting started out, it's really hard to get elected to the board of directors and other leadership positions in a national society. But it may not be as difficult to do it in their local state. So it's sort of a way to get your foot in the door. Another thing that's great about the state societies is Medicare has a committee called a Carrier Advisory Committee. And that is our voice with Medicare to allow stuff to get compensated and reimbursed the way we want. And by Medicare rules, that committee member for each state can only be appointed by the state society. And because ASIPP is the one with all the state societies, it allows us to appoint that member, which gives us all a voice in CMS locally as well as nationally. I realized when I became president of ASIPP, we have all these state societies, but we needed to organize them more. And one way to organize them is to create a website, a central landing page, something everyone in each state, all of those doctors could be proud of. And if they're on the board of directors or if they're in leadership, I put their picture up there with a little statement. This is very helpful for careers and dealing with payers and your reputation locally. So I started doing them myself on a website called WordPress. It took me a really long time to do the first one, which I think was Kentucky. And then after that, it got a lot easier. So I decided to do, because I practice 5 days a week and I had kids, but my family, my kids, we all watch football on Sunday, Cincinnati Bengals, right? It's our team, maybe yours too, but every day, every Sunday during football, I would actually do a website in the background when I were watching the game. Well, lucky for ASIPP and us is that the Bengals made the Super Bowl. So we had 4 extra playoff games. So I ended up doing a total of like 22 different state websites between all of the football games in the regular season as well as the playoffs. Now I didn't do a 23rd one because I actually went to the Super Bowl. So I was busy there and I didn't get to do a website. But that allowed us to create all these websites. And now half the states in the country have them, and I think it's something that we can all be proud of. What I did was I took that entire sort of landscape of what we made for each website, and I gave it to each of the states that we made websites with the username and password so they can update their own site. But also we have that available to any state. And to be honest, at this point, those states can just log in and change the state name from, say, Nevada to Arkansas or whatever, and then they would have their own website that they can upload, and they just need to change the names and pictures of the board of directors. I think leadership comes from within, from physicians on the ground from that state. And what I've realized in every state, there are doctors out there that are passionate about pain management and advocacy and doing this kind of work. And because of that, I think if we just foster a mechanism for them to do that and a pathway for them to do that, we could see a lot of new leadership come up. Well, we're all in this together. And when we have a unified, consistent voice, we can really get a lot of things done. So when you look at local coverage designations for epidural injections, facet injections, when we were applying to CMS and Medicare, we actually had 48 states, as well as ASIPP, all write letters that were very consistent. So there's consistent messaging back to national leaders. And when they see that kind of consistency from so many different people across the country, you start to realize that that is, in fact, the way it should be. And at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. We just want to advocate for patients. We want to maximize the patient experience. And we can all do that together if we have a unified voice. So each of our state societies, the way I did it for all of those 23 different states, is I took the abbreviation, the approved abbreviation, and added SIPP.org. So Kentucky, for example, is KYSIPP.org. Indiana is INSIPP.org. Michigan is MISIPP.org, and so on and so forth. Now there are a couple of exceptions to the rule. Kansas is actually KSIPP.org. And California is actually CalSIPP, CALSIPP, and Hawaii is HawaiiSIPP.org. Those are the only exceptions. The reason why Hawaii was that way is when you made the abbreviation, it looked like HISIP. And the leaders there thought that was kind of weird, so we decided to go with HawaiiSIPP.